So as some of you know, I work up in Michigan for the summer, and I just wanted to kind of do an update and a sort of documentation on the fort that I built about 6 years ago when I was working up here at an outdoor education camp. And this fort is built on the shore, on the beach of Lake Michigan, near Glen Arbor, Michigan. So the sort of northwest point of the lower landmass of Michigan. And I built this in a couple seasons of work. I don't really know how many hours went into it, but basically I would just collect all the dead wood from the beach, and I kind of stacked it all up together, and I used what I could get, which there wasn't very much wood, so I was kind of having to pull big logs, sometimes a quarter mile, maybe even more, just to bring them to build this fort. It's in an area where there's a lot of erosion, and my intention was to kind of build a fort up against an area where there had been erosion to kind of cover the area and prevent the erosion. And you'll see footage of the outside to kind of see what I mean. But now it kind of blends in with the hillside, and you can't even tell that there's a fort here, and that was my intention from the beginning. So I'll take some footage from the outside, but this is the inside. There is some, there's some fungus growing and some mold and stuff. So some decay happening, but for the most part, it is holding up really well. And I wasn't trying to build it to last forever. I was just kind of building with the resources I had, and I didn't cut down any trees in the process. Didn't harm any life. In fact, if anything, I prevented erosion and created habitat for a bunch of little insects and things. So there is one major crack in one of my supporting beams, my supporting rafters, and that's basically the most damaged area. Everything else seems to be holding up. And and this is my cob fireplace. You can take a peek in there and look up the chimney maybe. So yeah, I'll go on the outside and we'll take a look from the outside. Alright, so hopefully you guys can hear me. It is a very windy day. There's some big waves out there on Lake Michigan, but just documenting the fort I built. So you guys can see this is the entrance, looking in from the outside. And there's the puppy dog, Pepper, walking on top of the fort. So you can see there's grass growing on top and other plants, and that was my intention, was to have it blend into the hillside and actually have the plants grow over the top and kind of seal it in and really just stop the erosion and blend it into the hillside. So especially on days like this when there's a lot of water coming right up to the edge of the fort, this really helps to secure this hillside. You'll see right next to it, I'll show you guys in a second, where there was quite a bit of landslides that washed, all of the organic matter came down off the hill, and we'll see what that looks like in a second. So I'm going to go ahead and walk away from the fort, and you'll kind of see how it is hidden. So that's the entrance behind me, and then I walk out into the sunlight, And you can see how it sort of disappears and blends in the scenery. And here's the water washing right up to the edge of the fort. Alright, this is the outside of the fort. You can see the water today is washing right up to the edge. So I piled a lot of material in here. There's a lot of big rocks that I put there and a big log that goes across like this. And so that's holding us all together, and those roots from those plants are really holding it together. And otherwise, this area where the fort is would look a lot like that. So this area is all new growth. There was some landslides there, but it's kind of reestablished itself and regrown. But there was a line right here where you can see right next to where the fort was, and it was potentially going to erode this whole section as well, but I built the fort there in hopes that it would prevent that from happening. So I'd like to think that I helped a little bit in preventing that, but I don't really know. So I'll go ahead and walk on top of the fort. It is 6 years old, but I'm sure will still hold my weight. It's very sturdy and secure. I wouldn't want a lot of people walking on top, but as the roots grow through and as the life takes over, it should become more and more secure, hopefully before the logs rot out.